Hey everyone, before we get started with this episode, I want to take a quick second to thank our newest Patreon supporter, Emo Kid Dane Moody. Man, thank you so much for signing up and supporting the show. It really does mean the world to us. We've got an AMA coming up soon, so you'll be catching that along with everything else we've got going on in the Patreon. But we'll talk more about that later. Let's get into the episode. What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminest podcast. Have we ever done a cover on this show before, other than maybe Year 3000 by the Jonas Brothers?
One of our best episodes.
It seriously was. It really was.
Let's do this. We did the cover draft, but I don't think we've ever... Yeah. So this has been... We're at some point we'll do likely, I don't want to put too much pressure on us, but we'll probably do the Katy Perry 303 collab, stuff like that. Stuff that's like not Paramore every week, more or less. But not that we do that, but you know what I mean.
But we want to. We
do. We would do Paramore every week. It really, there's no rules. There's no rule. There's some rules. Okay. I've been talking about Kelly Clarkson my whole life. Aside from the podcast. No. Since You've Been Gone is the topic of today's show. But here's how we're going to do it. Well, I'm going to say it for the people who are listening. Tom and I have already discussed this. But Since You've Been Gone, we're going to talk about the A Day to Remember music video and how it relates or is a shot-for-shot remake of the Kelly Clarkson video, which is kind of a pop-punk video in itself based on her attire at the time. And we'll get into... Well, we could get into it right now as to why it had that look and feel. But big part of the 2000s, big part of A Day to Remember's ability to cover songs, which is Newfound Glory gets a lot of credit because they do it a lot. But can we talk for a quick minute about A Day to Remember, who we rarely cover on the show and should talk about a lot more?
I really love this band. I love most of the albums that they put out, and I guess I just didn't really perceive you as like a huge A Day to Remember fan, and I was like a casual lover of them.
Casual lover?
Dumb. Like, I love them, but casually. Like, I didn't like talk about it with my friends.
That was my nickname in high school.
I never. Mine was.
It wasn't me that gave it to you, but I was jealous of the person who did.
Anyways, I just don't have the experience with this band that I did with Blink-182 because like I love them by myself.
Loving by yourself was also a nickname of mine in high school. Roller coaster ride there for me. Just kidding. Enough of the nickname in high school joke. It's just a rework of the dibs on the band name joke, which is, Parks and Rec's been off the air for a while, guys. Let's go. Let's pick it up a little bit. Let's freshen it up. All right. I actually saw A Day to Remember live opening up. Yeah, hear me out. I swear to God, it's a true story, bro. Not really technically by accident, but I went to Pittsburgh to visit my buddy Joe McShane and his wife, and he's a big Penn State fan. He had a really nice tailgate set up with like the tent and like a little bungee cord to have like paper towels. I'm like, wow, this dude's a pro. Grilling, all that stuff. It was like tremendous. I came prepared with not as much stuff. I'll say that. But we were going to see the first Blink tour after Skiba joined, which was an interesting experience in itself, but we're not here to talk about that. What we are here to talk about was the fact that A Day to Remember was... came on before them on that ticket. So in Pittsburgh, on a fine summer evening in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania one night. They brought the thunder for sure. It was, you always feel silly when you learn more about a band after the fact, but they brought the energy and everyone there. Thoughts on that fit, I guess, real quick. Them and Blink on the same ticket, with Skiba involved in that particular Blink lineup.
It doesn't make sense to me, but
okay, that's basically what I was asking. Yeah, like are they pop punky enough to, after talking about the show for so long and some of the drafts and this and that, they do. And Homesick is one of the best albums of the subgenre we're talking about on the show. Yeah. But I guess that's the question. Does that fit for the ticket itself? I'm glad you said no, but I wonder if, @_reminiscent FM on Twitter, if you agree or disagree. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting choice. Not knowing a lot at the time, but the more I learn, I'm like, is it the best choice? I don't know. It's hard to say.
Hit us with this. Which one's better, Lil Wayne or A Day to Remember? Which one makes the least sense?
Hey, wow. Okay, so there's a wide. They when you're around, like we live long enough, like we often do when talking about Weezer and Blink. We quote The Dark Knight, and live long enough to see yourself become the villain. You just tour with a lot of dudes. We recently discussed Newfound Glory making an appearance, albeit brief, in the First Date music video. A fun little factoid we learned not too long ago. But back to Day to Remember. Brought the Thunder, very energetic show. Everyone was having a pretty obvious blast. When it was just cool to experience them because I had heard about them, been, I guess on the surface familiar with them for quite a while. Them as a cover band, a couple quick thoughts before we get into the video specifically and a little more about the Kelly Clarkson songwriting process behind Since You've Been Gone itself.
The only ones I can think of are this and Cable Car, but they fucking slayed that cover too.
It's true. It's almost like Newfound Glory does so many that you're like, yeah, some are good, some aren't. When A Day to Remember, it seems as though when they choose to do one, they knock it right out of the park.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. And not that they make it their own, but kind of. Like, covers are always our tricky business. Like, did they take over either of these songs in your mind? The answer is no for the Kelly Clarkson song. I guess what I'm really asking is, did they take Cable Car right out of the phrase Cold Dead Hands?
They made a version that I'd prefer to listen to. Like, I think with a lot of these bands, and there's even like a quote from Jeremy himself confirming this, but a lot of these bands are just pop bands that do something like a little bit different. A Day to Remember does some screaming and some breakdowns and a little bit of double kick here and there. But at the end of the day, they're a fucking pop band. So they take one of the biggest pop songs ever written and just throw in a little bit of what they do onto it. And of course it's going to be great. I think they are aware of who they are, what they're good at, and they just do it.
Yeah. I guess, like, to kind of add on to that, I guess, like, a hit is just a hit regardless of decade or genre, depending. You can breathe new life into a song at any given moment. And they certainly had done that here. I guess we'll explore that more. But I did want to touch briefly, Since You've Been Gone, the song was originally written by Max Martin for Pink. Wrote it, with her in mind, but she turned it down ultimately. It was then given to, drumroll please, the one and only Hilary Duff, but she rejected the song because she could not reach its higher notes. So the song was finally given to Clarkson, fresh off of a tiny little reality TV show that was on for a few seasons in the 2000s, who decided, according to Wikipedia, some light Google research here on the show, who decided to, quote, add heavier guitars and harder drums to the song after noticing that the demo had a pop sound. Turning it into a, kind of a power pop, power ballad type situation. Which
what an insane genre, a power pop, power ballad.
But I think that so decision bled into, does this cover happen if she doesn't be like, I think I am hearing guitars here. What if this was a rocking song?
Right.
If this Wikipedia entry, apologies for not deep diving into this specific nugget or detail, but that kind of changed the course of the song forever. You know what I mean? Like, that's a pretty important decision to be like, no. It's kind of like, when we talk about some of the popular stuff, I think When You Were Gone One Week years ago, I did an episode on Party in the USA, and it was written for Jessie J, who's a British artist, and then it became, a Miley Cyrus song, and the joke was like, this definitely looks like a Nashville party, even though in the song you say this is definitely not a Nashville party. So it's just like, this is not written for you, pretty clearly. But no, Clarkson just being like, what if it was like guitar-y? And it's like, defined, like, she not burst on the scene. She was on the scene because of the American Idol, the show, right. I guess. But let's back up. I'm getting way ahead of myself. American Idol. I'm surprised we haven't. Well, maybe I am surprised. Either way, we're talking about it now. We do a show about the 2000s, a very specific corner. This is kind of the first time we've gotten to ask any Kelly Clarkson, American Idol memories. Was it bleeding into your musical taste, what you were listening to, on your radar? Any general American Idol thoughts? Or reality television shots. I am just unraveling in front of everybody right now in real time. Tom, why don't you take the mic, talk about American Idol however you deem fit.
So American Idol was a huge part of my life, honestly, for like many, many years. I talk about that girl Stephanie a lot. We met each other in theater in like 2004 was like when I was the most into theater, and that would have been like season, I think, 3 of American Idol. So this was after Kelly Clarkson, after Clay Aiken and Ruben Studdard. I spent probably 4 years on that couch every Tuesday watching the performances and like voting, like calling the phone number to vote multiple times for my favorite performer. And man, I loved American Idol. Like I really, really loved it.
I think everybody did at this. It's kind of like we make this like joke on the show a lot, I guess, but like we were there, man. You all loved it too. Like it was huge. I just junior high going to school. Like, hey, did you see that last night? Like that dude was like the William Hung thing was like an incident. It was like
I met him last year. Did I tell you that?
Wow. No, I would love to hear that.
He's like a motivational speaker, and he was at Podfest, and I was just like talking to this girl who's like in marketing, and he came over and was just like, hi. And I was like, oh shit, hi.
Whoa.
Anyways.
Yes. So yeah, I think Clarkson and I never watched that movie, Kelly and Justin, but I want to now. Maybe we'll do a live stream on Instagram, Reminiscent watch party. And instead of doing Scott Pilgrim like everybody would want to, we'll watch Kelly and Justin. No, but one of the first stars that jumps to mind, and other than Carrie Underwood, maybe one of the top, I would have to assume 2 or 3 grossing. I don't know. We haven't done the legwork on that one, but huge at work. When I was in Cincinnati, they had tickets that came down. She was at US Bank Arena there. And I just called dibs because I figured Jesse might want to go. And a coworker was kind of like, oh, Pat. I'm like, hey, man. Yeah, well, hold on. You know, like, anyway, we went and the concert was interesting. It was like an arena show. It was packed. She had a couple like country artists and a couple pop stars that are young and like, you know, bringing them on tour to open up and stuff. The floor was a bar, like as long, the width of like a hockey arena. And everyone was just like mom wine drunk the whole time, but before it gets messy and weird, like just scream singing a karaoke concert for like 3 hours. It was honestly kind of incredible. We were seated, the tickets we had got, but everyone was very into it. And I think she ended up closing with this, and she's like, you all know it. Let's like LFG, let's go. So no, it was legit exhilarating, and she put on a great show. She was kind of like it was kind of like a giant advertisement for her daytime talk show that I don't know how long it lasted or if it's still on. My apologies. But it was a fun show. And I was like, wow, she has so many hits. Kelly Clarkson's a huge star. And I guess it was just nice to get refreshed because it was like in the lens of the episode we're doing today. This was huge, man. I don't know if you want to run through some fast facts, but the song itself, like you got to feel bad for Hilary Duff and Pink. Like they passed up on a freaking certified banger.
But would it have been without her in her
fair point
input?
Fair.
Right?
Hey, it was meant to be. Yeah, I'm glad the song took this route because you know, it definitely rocks. You know, it's like to Jeremy's point that you quoted earlier. Like these are all pop songs. You know, these are all hits, and you can do what you want with them. You know, they're good for the reasons why music's it's hard to say it in too simple terms, but yeah, I think she made it work and brought a lot of life to it for sure.
Hey, I just want to say that Kelly Clarkson put her house on the market 2 days ago for a cool $9 million. I wonder if all of our listeners pooled our money.
No.
8 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, 10,000 square feet. What if we just have the Rema home? That doesn't work.
Whoa.
We can all live together.
Reminest.
And Kelly Clarkson's the Reminest. I love it.
Okay.
Romantian. No. It's getting worse.
We can put on our Reminites and watch some Rema Noir movies. And,
Okay.
Yep. I put on our Rema neckties and eat our Rema nectarines. And this is where the household item was. We've been waiting for this bit to, there you go. Okay. I guess that makes hello to our Rema nectarines. I guess this is the day we use that one. All right. No, but yeah, it was a good show. Huge star. Some crazy numbers for the song, as you could probably imagine, right?
Yeah. I mean, she's definitely, of all of the American Idols, like the biggest one, season 1, right? Maybe Chris Daughtry would be up there.
Ooh, Daughtry's one of those ones where it's like, I know like 4 of these songs front to back
And
in a big way. Careful what you wish
rip.
for, because you just might get it all, baby.
Right.
Okay.
Catherine McPhee is still relevant. I had a huge
Okay.
crush on her in that season.
Mhm.
Anyways, so
Anyway,
the song, it was a hit. Do you want to go through the numbers for it?
I can or you can. Up to you.
Well, go for it.
Okay, cool. Rolling Stone ranked it at number 482 of the 500 greatest songs of all time in a list they put out in 2010. High
Jesus.
praise. That's a lot of songs. 500 is not a lot. We always joke on the show like, yeah, that's in my top 50 maybe. We say that every week. But like 500, that's like for 2010, tells you how hot it was at the time. I wonder if it would still make that type of list. In the US, the song peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Probably the highest we've ever talked about on the show. Is kind of not super fair, but behind Candy Shop by 50 Cent and Olivia. What a time. Being reminiscent about things and just remembering stuff. Let's remember some stuff. Okay. It topped the US Pop 100 for 6 consecutive weeks and the US Pop Songs for 7 consecutive weeks, respectively. It was certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America for shipments of over 1 million copies sold. Since You've Been Gone was also a worldwide success, peaking in the top 5 in Australia, 2 tough countries to read back to back, Ireland, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom. It also peaked in the top 10 in Norway, Germany, and Switzerland. At the 48th Grammy Awards, Since You've Been Gone won the category of Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. And I have to imagine, deservedly so. Those are some stats. Those are some serious stats. I mean, those are All-American Rejects numbers. That's a joke, but if you listen to the show, that's kind of like the only band that gets to tout anything close to any of those type of accolades. But
4 or 5 times platinum. And then 3 years later, we see the release of A Day to Remember's For Those Who Have Heart, January 22nd, almost the 14-year anniversary of it, missed it by about a week at the time of recording this. And this was one of the 4 B-sides on the re-release of the album. So, not to say the song's gone down in popularity, but it's funny to think, how the cover was just one of the 4 on the re-release. But what was so interesting to me is that, and maybe this speaks to the gravity of the song itself, usually bands are trying to cover songs, and maybe this is just like YouTube bands, but they're usually covering the songs pretty shortly after the song comes out. And they made the choice to go with the song that was 3 years old. And it's interesting, Jeremy was quoted as saying, they specifically picked this song because we thought it would embody what we are as a band by taking like the poppiest thing ever and still making it hard enough where kids want to fight at our shows over it. And to me,
that sounds like their band in a nutshell. That sounds like
right? The Merriam-Webster definition of the year 2007. Just like super poppy, and then go for like no reason. But
yeah, that's actually in the Apple Music description of Pierce the Veil. It's written there. So that's making Pierce the Veil jokes when I know nothing about them at all. Coming here for the good stuff, everybody. Keep going. Sorry.
I'm not a poser. You're the poser.
Hey,
I talked about Pierce the Veil once.
Yeah, this is true.
You probably know more about them with that comment than I do, so we'll just move right along.
Well, I was doing some research for music videos, and they have a really good bank vaulty like theft one that it's fun. But there's enough going on there that we'd like to maybe explore that someday. But we got
fun.
If we're going to do stuff, we're not. Anyway, enough about that. Save it for the post show, guys. Come on, clean it up.
So I was going through the 2 of these songs together, trying to play them side by side on YouTube, which is like nauseating because of the difference in key, but also I think A Day to Remember slowed it down like just a little bit, but enough that it was off by like 5 seconds at the end. But on Kelly Clarkson's music video, the top comment by Eli, he says, "This is one of those songs you play when the homies leave the car," with 11,000 likes. Lots of agreeing on this. It's a Windows up banger. But did A Day to Remember turn it into a Windows down at the stoplight kind of banger? I think so.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Ooh.
No disrespect to Eli. If that is your real name, YouTube commenter, you know how much respect I have for YouTube, which is 0. YouTube. the Kelly Clarkson version is windows down all the way, man. It's just got it like that. She's just got it like that. And I gotta disagree. I'm not even, I was about to be like, I'm sorry, like it's that hot of a take, but Since You've Been Gone, one of the highest grossing songs ever, I think it's pretty good actually. Like that's my hottest take in weeks. Like, gotta step up my game. But no, it's windows down all day. Both versions forever.
Okay. Yeah,
if you're,
they both.
It's not even about pop or Kelly Clarkson. It's this song, Since You've Been Gone, it just rips.
Yeah.
I was going to try to make a ripping sound, but then I just said rips a lot because I was like, how would I even? I can't do it. You know, thing where I wish I had a straight piece of paper to blow onto the edge of. Like, I don't have, like, this isn't like a 1980s era radio program where I have like the boots next to me to make stomping noises and shit. So, can't do that. But the song rips is pretty much what I'm trying to say.
All right. Would you say it's certified BLAZIN?
I would, Tom.
Oh,
I don't really know what you are trying to get out of me, but I would concur with that statement.
Okay, the music video. So this is fun. I like what they did, and I think recently I had talked about State Champs did a cover of Real World by oh god, what's the name?
Matchbox 20.
Matchbox. I knew it wasn't Maroon 5. There's a number in there. Matchbox 20. And I remember watching the music video and being like, this is so weird. Why did they do this? It was a shot-for-shot remake of the original. And I think that's a lot of fun. And it's fun when they did the song pretty close to the original. They put their own spin on it. They did the same thing with the music video, just like A Day to Remember did. This is nearly a shot-for-shot remake. And it's a little bit goofier, but ultimately the same energy, same camera angle, same movement, same storyline. And I really kind of love them for that. But let's get into it. How's it go? Where do we start?
Sure. Okay. Well, I wanted to go through, for as catchy as it is, I'm just going to run through the other people who have covered this absolute timeless classic. You'll remember the name Butch Walker from our Girl All the Bad Guys Want episode, covered by him in his 2005 album Cover Me Bad. American rock band A Day to Remember, obviously the one we're talking about today. A cover by the Canadian indie rock band Tokyo Police Club was included in their 10 covers 10 years project. The song was included as the opening track of the American Idol 10th anniversary The Hits compilation. I imagine there's a fair amount of hits, or maybe there aren't, but it's like, hey, American Idol was great, but Kelly's king there. I wonder if Carrie Underwood was snubbed at all on that particular compilation. Who's to say? Since You've Been Gone was also performed by Esther Dean and Skylar Austin in the 2012 musical comedy film Pitch Perfect, a personal favorite of our own, Tom Kelly, and myself. The show is very pro Pitch Perfect. It would be hard not to be, honestly. Okay. But honestly, like it's something that sticks in your head. And I think that list is why, for me, I'm going to have to say windows down, full send. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Hey, let's get to the video. Like you said, shot-for-shot remake, more or less. Let's get into it. We open up. Kelly's in a nice apartment, sitting cross-legged on the couch with a pair of Chuck Taylors. She decided to go guitars, and the footwear matches. So far, so good. Goes into the bathroom, begins pulling things from the medicine cabinet. Here's the thing. We started out friends. It was cool. It was all pretend. And just like pop song lyric, like, yeah, man, everything hits and makes sense and flows. It's just, everything about it is perfect. Every line and every verse, as far as I could tell. Day to Remember, very similar. Apartment, playing with like a dog tag necklace type thing, sitting cross-legged on the couch, very similar. But in the bathroom, he's there with the band, more or less. Like that's one of the main differences we see in the video is Jeremy is picking through the things in the medicine cabinet, throwing stuff behind him, kind of making a mess. And what we, I guess, think is that they're going through their own apartment, like, hey, this is going to be a new year, new me type thing.
Yeah.
But in the Kelly version of the video, she leaves the bathroom pretty trashed. What are your thoughts going at, like, did you think the same thing? It's just like, oh, hey, when they twist and show that it's not her apartment, was that, I guess it's not like exactly M. Night Shyamalan. Like, it's not like I See Dead People or anything, but it's like, okay, turn up the heat.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it seemed like he was maybe trying to throw out any memories of that person from his own apartment or from her own apartment was kind of the feeling that I got.
Yeah, that's definitely the feeling at first. I think there's probably more humping, if I had to say, when Jeremy's going through his version of the video. I might have to check the tape, go back and do some tape work, check the tape on that. But the band is acting a fool, massaging each other in the bathtub. They're, it's obviously like a campier, whatever version of I don't want to overuse fart punky, but there's a full band doing what she does very well in the original.
Well, I mean, Jeremy is very straight-faced playing the entire thing, and then the rest of the band is just goofing around almost the entire video in the background. And yeah, the guitarist with the face
Unleashed,
tats.
Herbie fully loaded, Herbie unloaded. I don't know.
The guitarist with the face tats is like naked in the bath. Someone else is like sponging him off, and just super goofy, but still lighthearted enough that it's certainly distracting, but it makes it fun. It makes it fun.
So at this point in the video, we're learning some stuff about the world they're creating. Camera tilts down. We learned some camera terms from Tom a few weeks ago. And you go through the floorboards to down below where Kelly's fronting a band, and we go into the chorus. One thing I wanted to bring up, one of the main first differences of the Day to Remember cover, is this is where they let some double bass bleed into this, like heading into the first chorus. Let's start here. Thoughts on double bass in general. You don't see it. I guess you could find it if you wanted to, but seemed to have like a peak. Like if you were looking at the Google search terms, I imagine 2007 was when it peaked. Thoughts on the use of double bass here and in general?
Well, first of all, it's probably more of a crane than a tilt if we're talking camera operations.
You can get straight. I'm not even going to make you edit it out, but you know what you can do with your what.
I think double kick is God's gift to mankind, if I believed in God. I got one as soon as
Hold on, let's unpack that sentence for like a second. You think if there was a higher power and there was a gift to mankind, it would be a second pedal to hit the bass twice fast?
Yes.
I'm not saying it's a bad opinion. I'm just like, wow, that's blazing. It's scorching. That is a scorcher. Tom, from the top ropes, we've got families, man. Relax with that stuff. That is too much heat. That is a heater. Dang. Okay. I mean, it's a cool tool, but I mean, like, of all the pieces of the drum, I don't even know if it ranks as, but I just need to sit in that for like a minute. It definitely defined a lot of the music we like in that stretch. That's for sure.
Yeah, you definitely heard in like 2006 and 2007, like every pop punk band wanted one. I had one. Like I had a hand-me-down one from like my uncle's wife's brother or something who was actually funny. He has a PhD in theology. So it was like a little piece of God handing down his this gift to me, this birthday gift.
A random theology major is like equivalent to God. We're just saying stuff today. Today is the day. Everything we've wanted just to say out loud and record today's the day for that. Sorry, I'm being too much of a stinker. Much of a stinker. What the hell is going on? Okay. No, I think what I wanted to say about A Day to Remember, I'm so sorry to everyone, always.
Sorry for the brief interruption, but I want to take a second to enter the Reminiscent elevator and thank our Emo Elder Patreon supporters. In the Council of Elders, we have Andre Prevost, Johnny Leftwich, Jason Carey, Chris Lukey, and Anonymous. These are the folks that are in our top tier Patreon group, and they are doing a lot to support the show, and honestly, cannot tell you how much we appreciate it. We appreciate every single person in our Patreon. And if you are in that group, please make sure to check the 2 latest posts. We're doing a couple polls. We're asking for some opinions. We are working on a super secret project that only the Patreon supporters are involved in right now. You can head to patreon.com/reminiscent to see what all of that is about. But thank you to everyone in the group. Thank you to everyone listening. Thank you to everyone for everything. We are nothing without you. We are truly grateful for it all. Thank you so much. We love you. And back to the show.
What I think I'm trying to say is there was a moment where breakdowns, at least in our scene, we talk about this a little bit on the show in Erie, there was double bass. All of a sudden they were very out in front at the world of music in Erie. They were in the music we listened to. Yeah. Breakdowns were just a part of songs. And then I think Day to Remember was just like, I don't know, you talk about that one Malcolm Gladwell book where it's like, was Bill Gates in the right place at the right time? Are certain Canadian hockey players born at the right time of year to be big enough to be youthfully, skilled enough to go to certain camps? Like
Outliers. That's a really interesting book. Highly recommend.
Was Day to Remember the outlier of the double bass breakdown craze? Because there was a thirst for it, and Homesick, I think maybe in particular, they'd walk that line like he said, they're a pop band, but they're not. They are what, like, if there were people who were on both sides of that fence, like, I like the screamy stuff, I like the pop punk stuff, but Day to Remember, like, they were the outlier, I guess, of that moment and what that corner of the genre was asking for at the time, and they were a perfect fit for that, I think, if you don't mind me floating that out there.
What's interesting is when we talked about Rise or Die Trying, Jeremy said he was stunned that we didn't bring up the controversy over like the rivalry between A Day to Remember and 4 Year Strong. And I, first of all, had never even heard about that. I thought they were just like two bands that did their own thing and everyone loved them. Of course, when you get so into the subgenre, you can differentiate the subgenre and the subgenre. To me, it's like, those are two different bands. Like, how could you even compare them?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I do think that if we're talking about like finally walking that line, I think 4 Year Strong did it, or they tried to do it a little bit. Yeah, walk the line a little closer than A Day to Remember just kind of went over it.
Yeah, they were just harder, like unapologetically.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, they had whole songs like Second Sucks where there was no singing at all. And it was like a beatdown hardcore song kind of thing. So
yeah, it's kind of weird because like you talk about 4 Year Strong and you talk about Alexis on Fire maybe, or, whatever. And you talk about Day to Remember. And if it was a graph of we're plotting all the bands and you zoomed out, those would be the dots that were the closest together. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of singing, a little bit of screaming, this and that, faster, whatever, double bass, whatever. Day to Remember, I don't know if they were just doing something better or they went deeper into the harder while remaining poppy enough to have the wide appeal. Not super wide appeal, but maybe super. I don't know. I guess, I don't know if you could say what I'm trying to and not finding the words for it, but there was definitely a room in the scene for a band like that. And they were a really fucking good band to come around and fill that void.
Yeah.
But anyway, they are, of course, adding their signature sound to the cover, but similar to the Cable Car Frey song, not over the top, but I think that speaks, I feel like, don't want to turn this into too much of an NPR wannabe thing, but like, and I think that really speaks to the nature of, but like, that's what the band does, they have that sense of like, how can we make this good and not just like, feel like it's, I don't want to say masturbatory, but just like, we don't want to just like bring the genre to the song. We want to make it a good song. And I think that speaks to how good they are as a band and why people love them so much, because it's kind of like, sometimes it feels too self-indulgent, maybe is the phrase I was looking for, but I think Day to Remember is just good at it. And maybe we should stop trying to explain it. But anyway, they added their flair to this song.
I'll give an example of one that doesn't quite feel the same to me. The band I Prevail did a cover of Blank Space by Taylor Swift, and I felt like they went a little too hard into, like you said, like masturbatory realm of like, this is if, I don't know, like, they weren't true.
Are you making it
to
for the audience, or are
guess.
you making it because you want to? Maybe that's the differentiation, like, I don't know.
I think they could have been a little more like, not to say like riding the middle is like the best thing to do, but I think A Day to Remember, again, they kept it so true to the original with flares of themselves in it. And I just think it was like the perfect amount of what it needed to be, is really what I'm just trying to say. I fucking love this band. They did.
We just really like it. We just really like it. Okay. They tilt, they trolley, they volley, they arrive at the basement show. And they, the shots are similar. It's a shot for shot remake, like we said. The show scenes, she's no longer in Chucks. She's kind of more done up like a pop star, I guess, but performing in front of a full band to a very, very into it crowd, as you would imagine. But so is A Day to Remember in their version of things. Got a tight tee look with
we got to talk about the tee, man. The like, everything was like acid monster cartoony type thing.
Yes, and they're not gauges. You've told me that the look. I wanted to ask about Jeremy's look. They're not gauges because
They're
that
plugs.
would be that'd be wrong.
Size.
I was going to say fucking spacers, man. Someday I'll say plugs, and you'll be like, yeah, that's what they're called. For all for as big a part of my life, which is not very big at all, percentage wise, but you'd think I would know by now, but I don't. Okay. Anyway, tight T got some plugs in his ears. That's definitely a scene look for someone. Like if it was just the T, be like, oh, you're fart punk. Got the plugs. You're like, this guy's got some edge to him. This guy got some. Hello, my God. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean.
Thanks, man. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Okay. So yeah, they're both performing a show, red curtain, Crowd's really into it. Just
thoughts on the look, man. Like, when you discovered, I guess, can we just talk about plugs for a bit? Like, it added a new thing to the arsenal, I guess, of the scene looks, because we don't, we talk about this, we talk about that, Avril Lavigne t-shirts, this and that. Which arrived first, plugs or double bass? Or did they come hand in hand and say, we're here now, everybody, this is just going to be different now?
I think stretched ears were appropriated from very ancient African cultures, so I'd say probably plugs came first. Before,
yes.
Before double kick.
I guess specifically.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because like probably double kick. I mean, old like 70s hair bands they didn't have a double kick pedal; they had 2 kick drums. So I think, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They came at the same time.
I guess what I'm trying to say was like, was there a difference between neon era pop punk where there was more of a hair straightening vibe and more of a Day to Remember side of everything, where there were more of a plug thing, or was everything happening all at once and the lines were too blurred? Am I just trying to put up fences where there were none? I
think it was all at the same time. I remember Ryan and I wanted to get plugs because Tom DeLonge had them in Take Off Your Pants and Jacket music videos, and we really wanted them.
Gotcha. Okay. So Tom DeLonge was definitely someone who was, okay. So it was common enough. I was trying to put up fences where there were none. But yeah, verse 2, we see Kelly not at the show anymore. She admits that she fell for the stupid love song. Oh. Now she's snipping spaghetti straps with scissors in a walk-in closet. This apartment is nice. And so at this point, she's straight up trashing the place. She told MTV that she conceived the idea of the video after assuming, I guess, that revenge is what every girl wants to do when their boyfriend cheats on them, which is kind of like, okay, maybe I guess I hadn't realized that's what the song was about. She says, why don't I just go trash your house? And so I do it in the video. All I do is break stuff. It's a cool job. I could get used to this. In the beginning, I'm like tipping things over and smearing mud all over the walls, and it seems like my apartment, but it ends up with being the other girls that he's with. So it's a humorous video, end quote, which is like, yeah, I guess that sums it up pretty well right there. But yeah, at this point, we're becoming very aware. It's like, oh, she's cutting up her own clothes. No, she's definitely there to trash the place. But she's also like trying on hats, and like, if she's going to take some stuff if she finds some stuff she likes. Has this ever been like a breakup fantasy of yours to just go to the other person's house and be like, yeah, well, you're not so great. Why don't I just like mess up your place?
I always went way too deep into the sadness, never enough anger.
Oh, I think actually there is never enough anger. I think I might be like, you know what? Good. That's probably, anger's never quite the answer. I was trying to pull that back into a bad Star Wars reference, but I'm not even going to do it. Okay. So yeah, that thought never crossed my mind either, because it's like, what am I going to do with their hats? I'm not really that big of a hat guy anyway.
I don't want to look at that thing every day. Yeah. So a day to remember, they're all in the closet trashing it, but like with their own bodies. Just like...
Yeah, this is where the humping picks up a bit. If I had, like, if we're like, there's, again, the chart of Google searches, it's like, it peaked. This is where the humping peaks for them. There's kicks, falling into clothes racks. It's getting a little more physical. There's a little more energy. Maybe more of a pit energy to the closet scene.
Someone kicks the drummer in the chest and he like flies
just
back,
donkey kicks. Yeah.
taking a whole row of clothes down with them. And you can kind of see someone is just standing against the wall behind the clothes, and you can barely see someone standing back there. And it just looks like they're having a lot of fun, just fucking with each other.
Just getting This Is Sparta to the other side of a room, just like...
And my favorite part of the whole video, I like scream laugh every time I see it. It cuts to Jeremy just wearing this like purple silk blouse with like this little neckerchief type thing. But he is never the goofy one in the video. He's just straight faced doing the thing, and he's in this purple blouse. Oh my God, dude. It's
well, if
so
he's Kelly,
funny.
The main character of whatever this video is supposed to be, I guess, finds a piece that they kind of like and take with them. Right. So he's very straight-faced. What she does with the hat, he's doing with the blouse, I guess.
Loves the blouse.
And I like the idea of someone being so angry they break into someone's house to trash it, but are more like adventurous with their wardrobe than they would be in any other circumstance. Like, I'm so mad, but this is a nice hat. This is a nice shirt, actually. I think I might, like maybe I'll push the boundaries of how I look. Because maybe you're going through a type of rebirth during a breakup or something like that. But they're just like, you know what? Maybe I'll start wearing shirts like this. It's a new me. But let me finish trashing this place real quick. So it's also like kind of has like a fashion angle to it too. Like, well, maybe I could change a little bit too. Who's to say? Okay. You get to the point where she's like, I guess I never felt that way. Day to Remember does, periods after every word. Felt that way. Thoughts on a decision once more to add a signature Day to Remember kind of gang vocally harder vibe to the song.
Right. They're pretty true to the original throughout the first verse and chorus. And what's funny is that I think they might play in C sharp, drop D, if nothing else. And the original song is in G. And my sister always loved this song, but it was too high for her to sing. So this is actually the first song I ever heard of A Day to Remember. Sam Cray on the way to youth group or something. Maybe Doug was playing it. And my sister would always listen to this version of the song because she could sing it better, because it was like 5 half steps down or something.
Well, that's the reason Hillary Duff passed it up. It's sung pretty high. I mean, not everybody's Kelly Clarkson. No disrespect to Miss Duff.
But my sister didn't like heavier music, so she would always like kind of stop singing and just kind of like plug her ears during this this kind of screamier second verse, because like they get out of the chorus and it's like like it starts getting a little chaotic, and then the whole second verse is brum brum brum, just like super chuggy, lots of double kick, and he's screaming it.
I love it.
And it's awesome. It's so good. Because again, they know that the chorus is what everyone loves about this song, so they're not going to like tamper with the chorus. They know what people are there for. So like if they're going to get wild and show their own colors, they're going to do it on a verse that people like, but they're not like clinging on to with all their heart. So I think it was a really good call, like artistically on A Day to Remember's part, to get a little wild on the verse rather than the choruses.
There you go. I like that. Speaks again. Smart boys. That Day to Remember crowd. You get a shot of them performing. One of the band members is in a baseball shirt, 3/4 sleeve. Is that just like an automatic safe band shirt style of shirt to wear? Is that like gets a forever pass? Just like, yeah, okay. Maybe not, you're not exploring the boundaries of what band people are allowed to wear. You're not like going barefoot on a rug or something on a stage, but okay, baseball shirt. That's right in the middle somewhere. Thoughts on baseball shirts on band people?
I love them. I remember Tyler. So we talk a lot about like pop bands that had breakdowns. The Hometown Heroes, Still Frame Sky. It was double points that they were even a Christian band. But their singer always wore baseball tees, the 3/4 lengths, just like a nice black, maybe a red. Sometimes their drummer did too. And I remember buying baseball tees from American Apparel and wearing it for the first time and being like, I think this shirt's cooler than I am. I don't think I can pull it off. I thought it was like the height of cool, because it's like understated, but also like you can't just go to like a normal store and buy that. You have to drive the 110 miles to Pittsburgh to go to an American Apparel to buy one of these things.
Everyone listening can totally relate. I think there's like a chunk of listeners that straight up live in Pittsburgh. They're like, wow, it must suck to live in Erie. It's like, well, I guess I'd fight you on it. But that's also assuming, I don't know, sometimes Pittsburgh folks drive up to enjoy Presque Isle, but maybe not really. I don't know. Anyway, enough about that. Sorry, everybody. Okay. We're at the bridge now. Kelly is straight up trashing the bedroom. Pillows are cut. There's feathers flying. Nice pillows, by the way. Winter Wonderland thing with all the feathers. Day to Remember, similar thing. One of the band members smashes a canvas painting over the other band member's head. Like you said, chaos is upon us. I guess, talking about the bridge lyrics, bridge guitar work for A Day to Remember, adding some claps in, crowd clapping in the Casey music video. Let's talk about the bridge for like a quick second here.
Sure.
So sometimes we talk about the bridge where it's like just the slow version of the chorus. Like there's different types of bridges. I think, Cruel Summer, Taylor Swift off of Lover is like, it's actually lyrics and new, music that is, you're actually writing a bridge. But in this genre a lot, you get a soft version of the chorus or just something musical or this and that. But in this particular pop song, it's just a little guitar riff. Thoughts on just doing a bridge where it's not really a solo. It's just like, hey, we're going to take a break. It's going to be something different, but what's coming immediately after. Like, I guess every bridge I guess most bridges serve the same purpose, but thoughts on this one in particular?
I like the way A Day to Remember did it better. I think it's like, so the Kelly Clarkson one drops down and it's like real low for a minute. And it's good. It's enough to like, keep the intrigue. But I feel like in A Day to Remember, they actually like, they bring it down, they ramp the hype back up.
Whoa.
The drums, a little bit of tom thing, some double kick, and
you
get
never
the
have
claps.
to come back up if you never go down.
Right? Gotta get up to get down. I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but I love it.
So, but there's hand claps, and you mentioned like, what do you think about the hand claps? If you look at the Kelly Clarkson version of the music video, people in the crowd are clapping during the bridge. So A Day to Remember is just like, people are going to clap. Let's put it in the recording. Let's let them know what they have to do. No guessing. This is a safe space to clap. And it gets me really hyped for like, I guess I might have been expecting a bigger breakdown or something after this, but it's just a fun, like, all right, let's everyone take a quick breath from beating each other up. Let's all, be friends, clap, and then we can all smash each other's faces. It's nice. I love the way A Day to Remember did it.
That's a big agree from me on this end. As we go towards the end of the music video, Kelly finds so there's one more scene before they leave the apartment. Kelly finds a picture of the new couple, knocks over a CD tower, RIP CD towers. And her cherry on the top is the smash photo through the glass coffee table. Definitely like, okay, she's like, wow, okay. Like it was one thing to cut a spaghetti strap, but.
Piest.
Yeah, piest. Day to Remember, the guy, it's a little different. The guy finds a picture of him and his mom and he starts crying. Like, definitely some silly girl all the bad guys want energy. We're just getting real silly towards the end. Like we mentioned, they were in the closet acting a fool, as it were. At the end of the Kelly video, at this point, she's done a lot of damage. Smiles, gumming out the door, puts the hat on that she stole from the closet, but uses it to shield her face a bit, leaving the building as the guy and the new girl return home. As the lyrics, thanks to you, now I get what I want since you've been gone, play. Kind of a nice, like, okay, they wrapped that up pretty well. You want to talk about how A Day to Remember did it? Because they do one more crowd shot scene or a little bit. Or there's a little more homage, I guess, in theirs.
Yeah, I think there's one a little bit longer. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe it didn't. They're playing the show. The crowd's really into it. Like, briefly, I missed it until I saw your note. One person in the crowd is wearing a yellow shirt that says, I Heart Kelly. And it's amazing.
Yeah, a little subtle, like, yeah, man, this is, yeah. I thought it was great. I thought we should put it in our store. I Heart Kelly shirt. I think it would probably do well. If not, it would just be nice to put it there, just because I think it was a nice touch, subtle but nice. And then there's no other like couple in the Day to Remember video we find. Like it's just somebody accidentally knocks over it. Oh, go ahead.
No, so like they trash the place, they fall asleep in there, and then the mom from the picture comes home, sees all the boys sleeping, and just kind of like shakes her head like, oh, you boys, you rambunctious little rascals. Little stankers.
Right. There's no tossing through the coffee table of a couple. It's a picture of the grandma and the son of the band member. And it accidentally gets knocked over, I think, even, or maybe not. Maybe I'm misremembering, but not quite as intense as Kelly's ends. Final chorus, there's gang vocals. A scale of, let's do the God tier. As far as pop punk, from this era, what we do on the show here, thoughts on quality of this particular cover?
I'm about to say God tier, but I don't know if anyone picked it in the cover draft, which is insane.
Was it because it was released in the 2010s, technically?
No, it was 2005.
Interesting.
I feel like there's a lot we missed. There's a lot of good covers, though. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
It's super good.
We'll have
it's
to do
super
a cover draft part 2. It's coming up.
We absolutely should.
Maybe it's not. Are there enough? Who's to say? If we missed one, should we do another one to make up for it and just have it be an awful episode because there's really only the one we missed? It's hard to say. Okay. Great song overall. Kelly, Carrie Underwood might be the most successful. I mean, probably by far. But Kelly Clarkson would have to be number 2. I can't really think of all the people. There have been some, like you said, you mentioned a few names, Daughtry there. A lot of people went on from that show, but Kelly Clarkson, I don't know about the most famous, but yeah, I guess her and Carrie Underwood are like far and away the top 2. I can't imagine there's a close third.
What's interesting is the Carrie Underwood song that comes to mind when he cheats or whatever is a song about revenge. So
she actually has multiple, like, that's her wheelhouse. I don't know enough about her life to comment, other than the fact that she's from Oklahoma, and my wife is as well. So I always joke with her, like, on American Idol on that episode, Karen Underwood was like, I'm just a little girl from Chakotay, Oklahoma. But she said Chakotay, Oklahoma. But I guess this makes no sense to our listeners. It's just a joke I have between me and my wife. Everything sounds, it's just me making fun of Oklahoma, really, but actually it's a pretty state. But anyway, when she references like Blake Griffin or somebody from Oklahoma, I'll just be like, oh, are they from Chakotay, Oklahoma? And they're just like, what the hell are you talking about, guy? Okay, I'll stop that. Anyway, let's bring it back down. Let's end the episode.
Back down. Yeah.
Let's bring it back. Yeah.
Again, for the fifth time.
Time.
Maybe a perfect cover. Great music video. Lots of fun. Oh, yeah. It's very, low stakes, just having a good time, just, boys trashing their mom's house, which, hey, what?
A good breakup song that focuses in the video on trashing the other person's apartment, but really it's a freedom song. It's like, since you've been gone, I feel free for the first time. Now I get what I want, there's kind of a rebirth happening here at the same time. So I think it's obviously pop songs are mostly very relatable, but, here's the thing. We started out friends. It was cool. It was all pretend, but here we are. I obviously got very emotionally invested in this, but I'm coming out the other end here. We're working on it. We're working on some things. Great song.
Yeah. And I'm just great. Like, if it weren't for this song, would I ever have even heard of this band? Because someone's like, oh, dude, listen to this like hardcore band covered Kelly Clarkson, like that was the talking piece. So I wonder if I would have even known and loved this band without this song. So I love it. I hold it very dear. And it's always fun when, like, I think I talked about that one A Static Lullaby song that, like, my sister loved because she thought it was pretty. It was always fun when, like, my sister liked one of the songs in the genre that I like, because typically she didn't. And this was one that, like, it was kind of a fun thing that we could both kind of bond over and sing together. So lots of good memories associated with this song.
Yeah, man. Songs of the week.
Let's do it.
Alrighty. I have one. It's from the Christmas time, but I didn't want to let it slip through the cracks. Charlie Bliss and Pup teamed up for a holiday tune called It's Christmas and I Effing Miss You. And I wanted to make sure it got into a song of the week before we got too deep. It's kind of like the Christmas lights that haven't been put away yet. You're the last one in the neighborhood. But I was like, let me just remember one last Christmas thing, and then it'll be done until next year. But obviously two huge bands at the moment. And had to mention it because that's a very interesting collaboration and a pretty good song too.
Yeah, Pup is fun. I did an interview with their producer like years and years and years ago. That's probably still on our website somewhere. That was a really fun album. Yeah. It's funny because we talked about, like, are people trying to be like too edgy with Christmas? Like, it's Christmas and I fucking miss you.
I think it's just emo, it's just like, I miss you. It's more sad than edgy, but to your point, I can see where it's like, man, it's Christmas. Man, come on, guys. Why are businesses open on Sundays? I don't know if I want to be in it.
Mine this week, it came out a couple days ago, Tourniquet by Sincere Engineer. She has some really fun music that's coming out lately, and it was a good one. Fun music video.
Fun.
Good times.
Fun.
All
right. Bye, everybody.
Love you all.
Tom.
Bye.
Thanks for being here. On to the post show.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I'm really glad that we finally got to talk about A Day to Remember, a sneaky good band that I always forget how much I love. And I think Pat feels the same way. You can find the show notes for this episode at reminiscentpodcast.com/episode/209. And please hit us up on Twitter @_reminiscentfm and let us know who did the better song, who did the better music video. We'll talk to you all next week. We love you all so much. Again, check out that Patreon for upcoming projects. Talk to you next week. Bye, everyone.